We'll start with a short vart on the parsha, and then we'll segue into the halacha. So we're going to be learning Mirz Hashem Hilchos Shabbos, and particularly we're going to start with Hilchos Refuah. Why Hilchos Refuah? We'll talk about it in a moment. So, because this used to be a Smichas Chavrish here, and usually they had such an incredible way of tying the halacha with the parsha. So I sat down last night and I decided, okay, so Refuah, Lech Lecha, and I did a little, I was looking all over, I got Bris Milah, and Bris Milah, you could start saying, Sakanas Nefashos, and I shtickle gave up. I realized it's not as easy as, we make fun of it is, and I moved on. You're going to say anything and then say, chizik. So I'll tell you, so it's interesting. So then I decided, I'll just say a vart in the parsha, and then the vart in the parsha that I chose, you'll see actually has a little bit of a left turn in. I guess that's just the way it works. Vayomer Hashem al Avram. Hashem says to Avram the famous words, Lech Lecha. Go. The Medrash is probably one of the most famous midrashim out there. Teaches a mashal. Mashal echad she'av over mimakom lamakom. You're walking around, v'raya bira achas doilekas, and you see a mansion that's lit up. Amar Taimer Shabir Zublay Manik. Could it be that this mansion doesn't have an owner? Hates it to love Balabira. All of a sudden, the Balabira turns on the lights. V'amar loy anihu Balabira. I'm here. Kach lefishay Avram Avinu Aimer. Taimer Sha'ilam Azeb Leimanik. Could the world not have a leader? Hates it to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'amar lo Avram anihu Baal Ha'olam. I am the Baal Ha'olam. So, and this is where we know Avram Avinu found HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The question is, what did Avram Avinu find more than anyone else? There are obviously probably smart people out there. Was it a world that everyone believed just in the Big Bang, that God didn't create the world? But if you look at the Medrash seems to be going a little bit finer. It's not in the creation. It doesn't say who built the Bira. It says he flipped on the switch. There's someone running the Bira. Someone running the Bira. So says the Ran in Drushas Haran, what was the yesod of all Avodah Zarah? It's something to think about. I mean, hopefully no one's contemplating it. But where did Avodah Zarah come from? Says the Ran in Drashos, it began Shayasvurin She'ein LaKadosh Baruch Hu Chafetz B'Habriya. They all believed God created the world. And any normal person knows that this whole thing didn't just come into existence from nothing. But they thought Hashem created the world for sure. But does He care in the day-to-day minutia of what goes on? They didn't believe that God goes down to the runnings of every details, and that's where they started worshiping Avodah Zarah. That's what Avram Avinu saw when Hitzitzalav Balabir. He saw that not only did God create the world, but Hashem runs the world down to the very small details. And from here, says the Gemara in Shabbos, Kol HaMeshamer Es HaShabbos. Anyone who watches Shabbos, afilu, if you're an Oved Avodah Zarah, Kedar Enosh Meichelim Loi, you get Mechila. It's a funny thing. You're Shomer Shabbos, but you're Oved Avodah Zarah. Why is Shmira Shabbos that which is going to bring the kapara for Avodah Zarah? So according to this Drushas Haran, we can have a very beautiful pshat. What does it mean someone was Oved Avodah Zarah? It means he wasn't lacking in the Amunah that Hashem created the world. He was lacking in the Amunah that Hashem runs the world down to the very small details. So then what is Shabbos? Shabbos is the biggest recognition that Hashem creates the world. And that's how you could potentially do both of them. But if one is Shomer Shabbos Karoi, then he could come to this point. And really the Rambam in Hilchos Avodah Zarah says similarly, just to read the words of the Rambam, that's the Drush Saran as well. The mistake they made is that Hashem is now running the world. They thought the Mazalis are running the world. And that's where Shmiras Shabbos, of course, comes into. And this is really, I read an article by Rav Lopiansky, and he said he was in Eretz Yisrael during the Yom Kippur War. And he still remembers afterwards just a complete confusion, like how could this happen? And he says later on he saw someone building a building with a safe room, and someone asked, why are you doing that? It's such a waste. And I think we all could feel that way. Whenever you walk through Eretz Yisrael, every apartment's third bedroom. is the safe room. It's like, what do you need it for? What do you need it for? So what he wrote is that now we realize that we always believed Hashem ran the world in the big scheme. We have to realize Hashem ran it down to the day to day, that if Hashem wants there to be a war like this, there's going to be a war. Then of course, that is what real emunah and bitachon is. So b'siyata d'shmaya, as we learn from Avraham Avinu, that who is hitzitz the Baal Biro, who is running the world, no one wants to be. And Oived Avodah Zara. So we all have emunah in the big scheme, but it's emunah down into the smallest details. And Shabbos, Shmira Shabbos is the greatest application of emunah in this world, that we stop, we take a break, and we put it all in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's how the two, Baruch Hashem, connected. But now